and listened before dawn to the voices and words of the wise ones, the enlightened ones. I took their words to heart. They have so much faith and love in our strengths and challenges we face. They have so much confidence in us as we navigate life's struggles. Why? They know what it's like here. They've lived their lives here on the earth plane. How can they tell us blindly that we're going to forge ahead and get through this and come out on top of it all? This massive, stinking pile of garbage that the year 2020 is depicted as. I'm sure everyone's seen all the jokes and the dumpsters and everything else full of 2020. Why should we trust them to guide us, to know what's best for us? I know the answer, and you probably do too. But the 3 words they literally woke me up with, you know when you're woken out of a very sound sleep and you're not quite with it, you're kind of like fuzzy and where am I, kind of rolling around, looking around, opening your eyes. Well, that's what I was doing, and right away they were speaking to me. The 3 words they told me that strengthen my convictions in this religion of spiritualism are faith, hope, and promise. That's all they gave me. They said they wanted to talk today about faith, hope, and promise. How so, you ask? And why those particular things? They told me, trust in the Lord, for He is good. So now you be good, and you listen to their story. We begin with faith. What is it? I asked them. Everyone has their own interpretation. Look close by to you, they said. What do you see? Faith. Faith is being sure of what you hope for and still certain of what you do not see. You are a spiritualist. Trust in what you know for sure is there, even though most of you do not see it right before your eyes. What can anyone say about all the things we've gone through in 2020? Well, first of all, congratulate yourself. Pat yourselves on the back, ladies and gentlemen, because you did it. You got through the fire. It's behind us. But remember, like they say, don't look back. You'll turn to salt or stone or something along those lines. Halfway through the year, many doctors and scientists and politicians warned that the worst was still yet to come. It's nice to have a prediction actually come true sometimes, but that was a rotten one to get right. The year began with our dear President Trump ordering a strike on Iran's Quds Force leader. This, of course, sparked worries of World War III. What was he getting us into now? Then, just a few weeks later, the House of Representatives impeached Donald Trump. Ah, the good old days, how innocent we were. In normal times in the past, those stories would dominate coverage in the news on every channel for the rest of the year. But at the end of 2020, they're all but forgotten. There were presidential debates and early state primaries. The issue that would define our year was spilling out of central China, unfortunately. So by mid-March, entire industries were shuttered up and closed. Scientists warned of 2 million Americans being dead, and ridiculously enough, a roll of toilet paper sold on eBay for $100. Yes, a roll of toilet paper. It couldn't get worse than that, right? Then we had the hideously horrific killing that we all saw played out over and over on TV of George Floyd. And there were weeks of protests reacting to it. And many thought things just couldn't get worse. Oh, ye of little faith. Remember, 2020 was also an election year. Of course, so many more things could get worse. As summer dragged on, while we all huddled in our caves, malcontents commandeered a few protests to turn buildings, loot, pull down statues, and harass diners trying to keep small businesses afloat. Many of the mom and pop shops didn't make it, with 17% of U.S. restaurants closing by the end of the year. Then it was time for the actual election. Socially distanced debates sparked anger. Cable news guests yelled and screamed at each other, while every YouTube video started with a negative campaign ad. Oh, and don't forget, President Trump got the COVID. So now, COVID is rising and falling region by region as vaccines are rolling out all over. The virus isn't gone yet. But now, that brings us to hope. Operation Warp Speed delivered miraculous results in half the time most experts predicted. Finally, a hypodermic of hope after a miserable year. So today we're encouraged. Yes, we'll still have problems with politics and pandemics, but light is emerging. Just as the days start growing longer. So 6 months from now, the majority of people in the U.S. will be vaccinated. Many businesses will reopen. And maybe, just maybe, politicians will do their jobs effectively. So by the end of 2021, normalcy will have returned, barring a sudden resurgence of the murder hornets. Don't forget about them. They didn't get as much attention as they wanted. Not everyone is so optimistic, though. In a press conference recently, President-elect Biden said, "Our darkest days in the battle against COVID are ahead of us, not behind us." Thanks anyway, Eeyore, but you're wrong. The toughest challenges are the unexpected ones. Last March and April, the most painful. Going forward, we just continue the daily grind we've lived since. We faced a year of crisis, and we came out tougher and definitely stronger for it. So now that brings us to promise, as Spirit said. This year of 2021 will be better. All we have to do is commit to making it so. I don't know if you're familiar with the Holy Vedas from Hinduism. They're among the oldest sacred texts from 1500 to 1200 BC. So even back then, man has subjected himself to thousands of self-inflicted bondages, or in this case, viruses. Wisdom comes to a man who lives according to the true eternal laws of nature. Where have we heard that before? Natural law. So we as spiritualists strive to live according to natural law, the true laws of nature, the laws of God. We have promise through natural law. We have learned to stop trying to heal Mother Nature because we have finally learned to stop hurting Mother Nature. Haven't we? Doesn't the earth regenerate time after time, heal, even after all the assaults attributed to man? So go with the flow. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the prayer of St. Francis, of which there are several versions. They truly contain a powerful message that never changes but can do wonders, for it holds promise as Spirit has asked us to have this year. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. There's that word again. Where there is despair, hope. There's that word again. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I, many not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we may be pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. So may 2021 bring with it good health, peace, and joy to all. But most of all, as Spirit has led us here today to hear, faith. Continue with your faith. Continue with your strong belief in the afterlife, your belief that one God is over all. Hope. Hope that all will return to what you feel comfortable with as being normal. And promise, the promise of a future where you are free to once more get out and hug and embrace your loved ones, spend time with your loved ones, and what makes you heal within. Hold these words close to your heart, not just this year, but for all the many more to come to you. Spirit says, peace and blessings to you, my brothers and sisters, that truly walk in the light of the One, the Divine. So thank you for listening to Spirit's words, and hopefully I can pull this up right now for you and have it resonate with you as well.
Channel
Okay, thank you for listening to Spirit's words today. At this time,